Until now, I'm still hoping to wake up and find that it was just a nightmare. When it's your kid, it feels like a nightmare that never finishes.
The family of a survivor in a child abuse and pornography case at a Winnipeg daycare says they've been kept in the dark by police when it comes to the investigation. They only found out that new charges were laid against the man who allegedly abused their child following a police press conference last week.
I discovered, like everybody else, in the press release, that he'd been arrested, I didn't know that it was something that was going out at that moment. I was just surprised like everybody else.
The parent, who City News is not identifying to protect the child's anonymity, says her emotions are a mix of disappointment and gratitude. While she's pleased action is being taken against the alleged abuser, she feels the family should have been informed.
Found out 2 hours after it was already online.
The accused, 36-year-old Robert Prince, has been charged with sexual assault and sexual interference from an incident involving 2 children that took place at an unlicensed home daycare on Aberdeen Avenue. A recent investigation also resulted in the discovery of child pornography on an electronic device owned by Prince, resulting in further charges. While he was a resident of the home, Prince was not an employee of the daycare. The parent says she knew further charges were coming, but had it not been for a friend alerting her to the public press conference, she would have had no idea new charges had actually been laid. She says it's been a fight to get information from police.
I need to go from person to person to person and try to make it whole so that I can understand even myself.
She wants to know why Prince wasn't arrested sooner and why the daycare was able to continue operations following allegations. She also hopes others involved in the daycare are charged.
I thought that the same day he would be arrested. That they would, that it would be a big deal, that the daycare would close right away until they clarify what happened. For me, knowing that the daycare stayed open, that it took so many time, I don't understand this system.
Donna Prince, the daycare operator, claims she was told she could reopen the daycare after the initial charges were laid and has been adamant she knew nothing about the alleged abuses.
I'm truly sorry this has happened, but it's not my fault. I did not know anything.
City News reached out to police, but they said they could not comment on the investigation.
When you hear about things in the media, about people in positions of trust in particular that have caused harm to kids potentially, the ripple effect of that is huge. And so we know we have families out there with lots of questions and lots of concerns, and we want to make sure those questions and concerns are answered.
Christy DeCoix is the executive director of the Toba Center for Children and Youth, which supports survivors of child abuse and their families. While she cannot speak to this specific case, this is the type of scenario the Toba Center would help avoid, with case navigators focusing on supporting families while also acting as a go-between with authorities.
I think we know we have a very fragmented system, and we have a lot of good folks doing their best within each of those systems, but we need to create a system that has far better coordination and support for those families all the way through.
The survivors' parents also wants to see more provincial oversight of daycares of all types.
Any person in charge of kids, licensed or not, should be, dealt with the same attention.
In Winnipeg, Morgan Majeski, City News.